as recapitalization deadline looms. That is much on Daily Independent. If you want more of those stories, pick a copy of the newspaper for yourself and get more details from those stories. The Vanguard. You're still live on MITV Breakfast Plus. And because I'm riding solo today, I'm truly missing my co-host. But I'm sure she's somewhere watching and she's thinking, okay, it's good. I'll be on the show tomorrow. But please, would always say health is wealth. You have to absolutely take care of yourself because you have to be alive to balance every structure. So please get well soon. Okay, let's check what the Vanguard is also saying. With a screaming headline, 2027, ADC PRP blows hot. As we stand at grave risk of exclusion, ADC is asking the CJN to act fast. Okay. Our restraint should not be mistaken for weakness. PRP is also speaking. With the rider, ADC seeks quick delivery of Supreme Court judgment, alleges crisis in PRP is engineered by the APC. APC pushes back against allegations of undermining PRP as lawyers urge trust in Supreme Court amidst INEC deadline pressure. Okay. Still on the Vanguard, Jet A1, middlemen defy regulators, raise price to 2,230 naira per litre. 1 million naira salary worthless without stable naira. That is coming from the leadership of the Nigerian Labour Congress. 1 million naira salary is worthless without stable naira. Okay, still on President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's second-term bid, Tinubu kicks off 2027 re-election bid as APC begins sales of nomination forms. I'm sure you've seen the story with the member representing the Ikeja Federal Constituency, Honorable James Faleke. One Dangote is not enough. Check that out on page 14 of the Vanguard. Okay, so there was a mega declaration that went on a few days ago in Delta, and that is for Senator Dafinon's declaration for his second term in the Senate. And the Senate, I think the senatorial election in Delta State will be more interesting than the gubernatorial election itself, because the APC has so many big wigs, so many big players, so much interest fighting to represent their people at the Senate. Former governor of the state and vice presidential candidate in the 2023 election, Senator Okowa, has also thrown himself in the rings to return to the Senate. And of course, there is still a serving senator right there. Senator Ned Nwoko is also very much in the mix. So Delta State senatorial election will be more interesting than the governorship election of the state. But let's keep our fingers crossed. Some other stories on the Vanguard. 400 billion naira airline credit market. Alton raises concerns over regulatory disputes. UAE quits OPEC on the 1st of May, raises concerns over market stability. I was reading this story and I was discussing with a couple of my friends yesterday that if the United Arab Emirates chooses to pull out of OPEC, it's a big concern for the United States because they are the biggest buyer of their oil. So United Arab Emirates is saying that, listen, the instability in the oil markets, obviously due to the war between US, Israel, and Iran, is taking a toll on them, and they cannot meet up with their daily quota. So they are pulling out of OPEC and every OPEC-related affiliation. That doesn't look like a good one, but it's okay. And finally, on the Vanguard, family recount horrific killing of Abuja Corps member, demands justice. So when I saw this story, I think on Sunday night or early hours of Monday, I was concerned. A corps member, was just killed like that in his home, and then the army said he was caught in a crossfire. I didn't know how close that was. So when I got home from work on Monday night, my closest friend and my former flatmate. He runs a property, is into property development in Abuja. And he called me. Usually he doesn't call me on direct call. I just saw his missed call 3 times. And I reached out, see, but what's going on? He said, have I heard about the call member that was shot? I said, yes. I saw the story. We talked about it on Monday morning. And he said, the guy is his staff. I went weak. And I'm like, what happened? He said he was at home. Soldiers were chasing some armed robbers. And then the shots, and then the bullet went through the door and hit the boy. And that was the end of it. A call member. He was supposed to pick up his first salary with my friend just this month because he just started working with them. It's quite unfortunate. And just while we're still talking about that one, we saw the unfortunate killing also yesterday, openly. This country needs a lot of resets. And until we're ready for that, acknowledging the fact that elections cannot just fix our problems, we're probably not going to make any progress. Okay. The Vanguard, or the Guardian, one of my favorite actually, is also reporting Faleke picks presidential form for Tinubu's second term bid. Court orders MTN Airtel to resume airtime lending services. Somebody made a joke on one of the social media platforms a couple of days ago that Twitter specifically, or former X, formerly Twitter, that there are few people on X now that because people can no longer borrow airtime and data. So court has ordered MTN and Airtel to resume activities and start borrowing Nigerians airtime again. Please, some of us, that's how we survive. We borrow, we pay back, and we borrow again. Okay. United Arab Emirates exits Ratu's OPEC as UN warns of worsening trade and food crisis. Well, they say that you would always know when a war starts. Sometimes you don't know the consequences and the damage it could leave you with. People have been killed. American soldiers, Israelis, Iranians, everyone have been caught in this. Even Nigerians are feeling it. Now the United Arab Emirates is pulling out of OPEC. And that would really, really affect the United States. Even though they want to be, they don't want to admit sometimes. But for UAE to pull out, UAE is one of the biggest contributors under the OPEC, membership. So, opacity, weak audit trails federal government spending amid abuse of Fiscal Responsibility Act. One of the reasons why I really enjoy Guardian is how details they can put up some of these, stories. So you can check page 6 to get full details of that particular headline. ADC 2027 prospects as court delays raises fresh fears. 2027, GAC adopt Hamzat as consensus candidate. The GAC is the Governor's Advisory Council in Lagos. And we saw the video yesterday. There was a statement, a press release by the leadership of the GAC. And of course, as adopting a consensus candidate in Dr. Hamzat. Well, like I said earlier on, it's a first of many. This is the first time we're seeing a sitting governor endorsing his deputy to take over from him in Lagos. We always know how some of these deputy issues always end. From Chief Mrs. Kuforola Bokno to Femi Pedro to Madam Orelokpe. But this time around, it seems the governor has been able to build a cordial and respectful relationship with his deputy, a man that's actually stepped down for him and build up to the 2019 election. Maybe the waiting game, consensus, was still waiting for President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, by the way. I mean, you can't deny that fact. He literally controls who gets what in Lagos. But we've seen endorsement from the Speaker of the House of Assembly, Right Honorable Mudashiru Obasa. We've seen endorsement from the former Speaker of the House of Representatives and now the Chief of Staff to the President, Right Honorable Femi Gbajabiamila. The governor himself had endorsed his deputy, and now the Governor's Advisory Council, GAC, the very powerful stakeholder bloc in Lagos, had also endorsed the deputy governor. Federal government moves against malnutrition. OKs the 2026 to 2035 nutrition policy. SANU to shut down varsities over stalled negotiation on Friday. Okay, SANU is the Senior Staff Association of Nigerian Universities, and they are saying that the federal government is stalling on agreements as far back as 2009, and if the government don't act between now and Friday, they will down tools and university will be shut. I hope the federal government will do something about that as quick as possible. Okay, EFC probes Vice Chancellor over inflated contracts and student fees diversion. Okay, quite interesting. Terrorist, I beg your pardon, threatens to execute 176 Kwara abductees. I saw the story yesterday, and then where they are saying that they are demanding for 1 billion naira from the government to release the 176 people in their nets. That is disturbing. 176 is a large number of people. If you put 176 people in this studio, I doubt if there will be enough space or proper ventilation. So imagine having 176 innocent Nigerians going through everyday torture in the name of a failed system that had refused to protect her people. So their life is at risk. The moment you get picked up, your life is at risk. Because there's no guarantee that even if the ransom are paid, you still will be released. But I'm hoping that the government will do the right thing. Maybe not exactly negotiate, just get people out and let everybody find peace. Okay. Rivers, stakeholders bemoan lull in governance, multiple stalled projects. Well, Governor Fubara is fighting for his political life. And, the last 3 years in Rivers have been very interesting. From state of emergency to impeachment attempts to decamping from the House of Assembly reps, some senators, the governor, the influence of the FCT minister and the immediate past governor of the state, Barrister Nyesom Wike. It's just been a whole lot for a state that is supposed to be leading in terms of infrastructures and development. It's not looking good, and I'm sure the people of Rivers will speak when the time comes. We're done with Guardian newspaper, and then I think we've come to the end of the newspaper reviews this morning. We'll take a very short break. When we come back, we look into the Police Trust Fund Amendment Bill. Our Senate is speaking about it, and that will be after taking this short break. Don't go nowhere. You're live on MITV Plus Breakfast Express. I'll be right back. Okay, I thank you very much, and I'm glad you're still watching us this morning on MITV Plus, Breakfast Express. I would always have these conversation and more every Monday to Friday from 8 to, of course, we start by 7. We give you the first course meal, whet your appetite, and also, usher you into this segment of the program. So, we've got a discussion, and we talked about the Senate advances Police Trust Fund Amendment Bill. The amendment bill for second reading, paving the way for major reforms in police funding and operations across the country. Sponsored by the Senate leader, Senator Opeyemi Bamidele, the proposed legislation seeks to repeal the 2019 Act and establish a stronger framework to support the Nigerian police force through improved financing, equipment, and infrastructures. Leading debate on the bill, Senator Bamidele said the amendment became necessary due to persistent challenges facing the police, including inadequate funding, obsolete equipment, poor infrastructures, and low personnel morale amid growing security threats such as insurgency, kidnapping, and cybercrime. A major provision of the bill proposes the increasing the statutory allocation to the Police Trust Fund from 0.5% to 1% of revenue from the Federation account. What is happening to the conversation about state police? Well, our phone lines are open. You can join this conversation this morning by texting or calling our WhatsApp on 0707 3800 I take the number again. 0707 3800 959. What exactly is happening to state police? And what do you think? Are you comfortable in the fact that, or are you sure that if this reform is brought up, there will be improvements in how the operations of the police is in this country? I'm sure a lot of us watching this morning have seen the video of the police officer that shot a suspect in Delta State. There were reports, according to the statement of the police, that the suspect came to a park to receive a parcel, and when they checked the parcel, allegedly had a gun with 4 rounds of ammunition. So let's agree that that was the situation. And because, as a suspect, you are supposed to arrest him, if possible, charge him to court, and let the law take its course. But because you are trigger happy, or maybe perhaps you are a contractor and you are just sent in to silence the young man, you decide to open fire, not in the night, not in the early hours of the morning, not during an attack. He's being tied with his hands to his back, and he was just seated on the floor. You could put him in your vehicle and leave. But because there's no respect for human lives, because there's not a single regard for the citizens, you decide to open fire and you shot him on the head and he died. So if there's going to be an investigation, who would you investigate? Someone that was ready to cooperate, someone that was ready to tell you who owned the parcel, who sent it, where is it going to, what is it meant for? And then the man that is supposed to protect the citizen decided to take the life of the citizen. I'm hoping that the Inspector General of Police, IGP Disu, would know that a lot of Nigerians are expecting so much from him. A lot of Nigerians are looking at him and saying, how would you handle this situation? It's a pathetic one. And I hope police brutality is not back. I want to believe it's not back. We've seen instances where, police officers have been summoned, investigated, some of them dismissed, some of them demoted, some of them suspended, but a lot needs to be done. Well, if truly the Nigerian Senate is intentional about improving the welfare of police officers, especially in the area of funding, so what they used to get from the Federation account is the 0.5% of the 52% left from the sharing formula. Now, Senator Opeyemi Bamidele is saying that increase it to 1%. But will more money in the police improve how Nigerians are being policed? Will more money into the system help the police officers to treat Nigerians with respect and also respect themselves? Those that we see often hanging around the roads, waiting to serve as escorts to trucks and container vehicles, would all of those end? Are we going to see an end to police officers, acting rascally? Yes, we have a lot of friends within the system that are surely, definitely doing the job as the law expects, respectfully, diligently, committedly. But we have a lot of rogues amongst them that are always trigger happy and would continue to threaten you with the gun they are holding. Take away the gun from them. They're as helpless as you can imagine. But when you have an instrument that is supposed to be used to protect the people, and that same instrument is what you are using to take the lives of the people, a lot needs to be done. 0707 3800 959. You can join the conversation via calls, text, or also reach us on our WhatsApp message. The calls are coming in already. Let's see who we have on the line. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Welcome to the show. Your name and where you joining us from? Hello? Okay. Okay. We're still waiting. Okay. For context, this is a TV station. So if you are calling, first off, you have to know that a lot of people are also wanting to join the conversation. So don't play around here so that other people can join us. Okay. 0707 3800 959. We'll take a short break. Our guest is here. I will open the conversation more. I will still pick your calls. Let's pick this call before we go on that break. Let's see who we have on the line. Hello, good morning. Okay. This person is still trying to connect with us. You're live on MITV Plus Breakfast Express. Our guest is here, like I said. We'll take a short break. We'll bring up the guest and we'll continue with the conversation. What do you think of the state police? What do you think of the request of Senator Opeyemi Bamidele to improve the welfare of the police by increasing funding for them? All of this and more we'll be discussing with our guest. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Mr. President and distinguished colleagues, the primary duty of any government is the protection of lives and property. Without security, governance collapses, economic growth stagnates, and social cohesion deteriorates. Across our nation today, we are confronted with complex and evolving security threats, ranging from insurgency and banditry to kidnapping, armed robbery, cybercrime, and communal unrest. These challenges have placed enormous pressure on the Nigerian police force, which remains the frontline institution for internal security. However, distinguished colleagues, it is evident that the police force is constrained by inadequate funding, obsolete equipment, poor infrastructure, insufficient training, and welfare challenges affecting morale. As a result, this bill, therefore, is a deliberate legislative intervention to address these systemic deficiencies in a sustainable and structured manner. Rationale for repeal and reenactment.
Mr. President, you will recall that one of the problems associated with policing in Nigeria is the fact of lack of adequate funding, which in the first place necessitated the passage of this Police Trust Fund. Mr. President, I think that the time has come that we must frontally confront the problem of inadequate funding of our security agencies, especially the police.
Mr. President, when you look at number 4 on the submission of the Senate leader, 1% of total revenue accruing to the federation account. That's really huge. In addition, allocated development levies under relevant tax laws, which you had passed recently. These are statutory allocations. However, what should be paramount in our mind is grants and intervention from federal and state local governments. More often than not, that has not been disclosed. Donations and international support from bilateral and multilateral partners, we know these things, but it has never been disclosed. Private sector contributions and endowments, we also acknowledge that, but it has never been disclosed. And I'm speaking because, as a member of this committee and a former chairman of the House of Representatives Police Committee, these last 3 items I saw mentioned, it becomes almost impossible to have the Nigerian police open up to this. And therefore, when you are budgeting for the Nigerian police, you'll not be able to get the right comprehension as what goes into the nitty-gritty.
That what we are doing now is not in any way in breach of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, which is the grand rule. I want to crave your indulgence and refer you to Section 80, subsection 2 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
Exactly.
Subject to your indulgence, I will read, because that provision is very clear and unequivocal.
Please read.
No monies shall be withdrawn from the Consolidated Revenue Fund of the Federation except to meet the expenditure that is charged upon the fund by this Constitution, or where the issue of those monies has been authorized by an appropriation act, supplementary act, or an act.
Section 81 of the Nigerian Constitution says, you said any act, the Section 80 says any act passed in line with Section 81 of the Constitution. Now, listen to Section 81. Section 81 says, the President shall cause to be prepared and laid before each House of the National Assembly at any time in each financial year estimates of the revenues and expenditure of the Federation for the next following financial year. We are not considering the estimates of the revenues and expenditure of the Federation. We are talking about Police Act. Are you hearing me? So if we need to include Police Act and then pass the new finance allocation formula, the Police Act will be there. And when we pass that, that now comes in consonance with the Constitution. So is there anybody who is opposed to this bill going for second reading so that we can brush it up? Those in support that it goes for second reading say aye. Aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. So we were just talking grammar.
Okay, thank you very much, and I'm happy you're still with us on MITV Plus Breakfast Express. My guest joined us just a couple of minutes ago, and he's Barrister Olayinka Ola. And together we're going to be looking at some of the issues that we've raised on the show today. Before we went on that break, we talked about the discussion around Senator Opeyemi Bamidele demanding for more funding for the police, asking the federal government to improve the 0.5% statutory allocation from FAC to 1%. We're going to be looking at some of these issues today. Beyond changing the Inspector General of Police, beyond changing the color of the uniform, beyond ordering them to leave all the legal checkpoints that we have, beyond demanding police reforms, how much change could this also bring? Barrister Olayinka on the show today.
Good morning. Thank you.
And it's a pleasure to have you join us. I'm sure that the rain didn't disturb you so much last night. They always say that when it rains in Lagos, you have to check your neighbors.
Sure.
Okay. So you're welcome to the show. I'm sure the conversation around, police reforms, changing within the police, in terms of funding, in terms of equipment, infrastructures. I'm sure you're not new to this conversation. Senator Opeyemi Bamidele is now asking the Senate to raise the bar from the statutory 0.5% federal allocation to 1%. To start with, is the problem of Nigerian police funding, or it just requires a general overhaul within the system?
Well, good morning, viewers. To start with, first off, police issue is not just funding alone. Funding is key, but I won't just say it's funding alone. We need a general overhauling. Some of us have been clamoring and asking for police reform. And now, when we say police reform, it's not just about, the fund. It's not just about the change of uniform. It's not just about the IG coming to say, remove all the roadblocks, the checkpoint, then maybe under 1 month, we're back to status quo. So all that are issues we need to look at critically. But before I go into the general overhauling, let's talk about the fund. As we speak, if you probably have friends among the police, or somehow you know some of them, you will know that the welfare of police in this country
is terrible.
It is zero. In fact, minus zero, if I can use that word. It is terrible. Now, it has now gone so bad that they now use, the bad things have now become norms. Okay? I'll bust your bubble, which I think you know about, that even some police officers kit themselves.
Sure.
Same thing applies to the soldiers. So they kit themselves. Now, let me also tell you this. A divisional police station, you find out that there's supposed to be an allocation for that division to take care of. But the truth is, there is nothing. Even maybe what they are giving them is zero. So now the police will have to fund. I've been to different divisions, even to the headquarters, even to some areas, commands, and I see that sometimes you see that this is the department, they are the one that have contributed money to buy generator. This department, they are the one that have contributed to buy. That's why you enter some offices, you see AC. Then you are wondering, this one, there's no AC. And
because those ones contributed money to buy this.
Thank you. So it's so bad. That is why you will see them on the road. When people see police, they say, they are collecting money, they are collecting this, they are collecting that. Because the truth is, they need to fund the division. That is the reason why you will call police when there is an incident or an issue, and they tell you there is no fuel. And really, they are not lying. That is the truth. Because there is no fund. And now, when we talk about no fund for them, that is even about operation now. We've not talked about the welfare of those people. Thank God for Lagos State on the trust fund. How many states
have such?
How many states do actually the insurance, the life insurance
Of
of
the
the officers? So there's so much going on. And that is why when I look at these people, sometimes I feel pity for them. I feel sorry for them. And in my little way, I do what I can do because sometimes people don't understand what they go through. These people are, yes, some people say, well, I don't care. They signed for the job. They are under the sun. They're doing this job. And yet there is no welfare for them. Nobody to take care of those people. So when asking for, and don't forget, when they put up their budget, you see that they allocate this. In fact, if you hear what they even allocate for food,
That's what I'm going
feeding,
to.
and spoon, and cutleries, and all that, and you wonder why our police will be getting nothing or peanuts, and you want the police to function well,
properly.
to function properly. So I think we really need to visit this. We really need to look at this. You see, the people at the National Assembly, they're not just there for their pocket, but fortunately, that is not the system here. Almost of our politicians is about me, myself, and I. So nobody cares about, it's about what, if you look at it now, it is very easy for the National Assembly to say, okay, we are increasing our budget. Oh, this is cannot do, the next thing you hear, allocations, vehicles, and allowances, and also, they put all that in their budget. Some they even pad it. But the one that concerns the people, because some of them, they know how much they even drop for those elections to contest for it. So if you have that, I want to believe that, oh, you have money to do that. But then when they get there, they want to recoup all those money.
It's an investment.
That is, for them, it's an investment. So they are not for the people. Because if you are for the people, you will understand that the police welfare, the police fund needs urgent revamp. So you should call, and in fact, not even 1%. I expect more than what they are even asking for. Because really, as we are not anywhere when it comes to our office. Our office, okay, look at it. The recent one, when the police are protesting, they retired and whatever.
Officers.
Because, you see, this is what they are, and they are saying that other agents, other military parastatals, other military and all that, they've taken them out of this. But so what is happening to us?
Why are you keeping the police there?
Keeping the police there? So these are issues that need, you see, they don't need to protest before you do it. If these people consider the welfare of these people, if these people understand that, come, this is our safe line, because in all, these are the people. I mean, locally, these are the people you approach first. You run to a policeman and he cannot help you. Can you really blame him? Okay, let me tell you, some of these bandits we talk about, some of these terrorists we talk about, some of these people we talk about, the ammunitions they use, the police cannot stand them. They will run. I experienced something, sorry, it's been a while, but it was at Maryland Junction. Some people took a car, armed robbers. They hijacked some, they stopped, they took a car. The police were at that junction. That Maryland, they were there. They were trying to cock and to shoot nothing could happen. Because they were carrying a shakabla or whatever they call it, they were carrying. And those ones came with, in fact, the way they were spraying, they come with sophisticated weapons. So same here. And that is what has also been happening to our military. So you are not funding, or whether even the money, let's even talk about the 5%. The 0.5%. Does it get to that?
This is where I'm going to. Over time, you see different administrations coming up with different police reforms, funding, fund here. Because I remember during the end SARS. After the EndSARS, I was part of a team that did the report and went to the police staff college in Ikeja, and we saw the deplorable condition of those places. You see the children's police staff school, some of the classrooms don't have chairs, some of the buildings don't have toilets. It's an absolute mess. And people were asking that, reform these people. So, is it that the monies have not been getting to the right places? Or maybe it's not just enough? So if you say, give us more money, would that more money translate to better welfare, or more money for the people that are siphoning the small ones to have more? can you guarantee that trust within that system that every money that a police officer deserves would get to him? Go and look at the salaries of the constable. Go and look at what these recruits are earning. It is nothing. So are we sure, Barrister Daniels, that if this fund is improved, it will not be another means for the organs at the top to have more to put in their pockets?
Unfortunately, I may not be able to give a direct answer to that. But from what we have seen, from antecedents, we have seen the former IG, Tafa. We have seen some other officers, the corrupt ones, they found some billions, some whatever in their accounts. And
there's a former IG now aspiring to govern a state in Nasarawa. And you know what it means to aspire to be a governor in Nigeria? Former Inspector General of Police.
So that should tell you more. That is why I said I cannot go direct. I can't give you a direct answer, but I can tell you, for everyone to see, this is what is in the public domain. So I am not the one saying this now to say, oh, there's corruption everywhere. So now, even if the money is increased, whether it's going to get to the roots, whether it's going to be used for whatever the purpose that it was, assigned for, is a totally different argument. I cannot say anything about that because we here, if you remember the retired generals, some retired and never serve and all that. What were the millions of dollars they found in some of the robbers, the tank that they were eating, under the whatever. So all these things, and you wonder, and you tell us the welfare is zero. They are not. It means that they are even releasing the money. So where is the money? Some people are pocketing the money. Some people are sharing the money among themselves. It's not even getting to to those people. Now, these same people, you see, it's so sad. Another angle to it. You now see the privates coming in to assist. Meanwhile, tomorrow you will come, you say, oh, you want to relieve all the VIPs. You want to release all the police attached to VIPs. You know why it cannot work? You know why they will make noise and nothing will happen? Because those VIPs are the one taking care of these people. For instance, when you go around now, you will see Hilux, you see vehicles. Oh, from Falike, sponsored, donated to the police. You see this from so person.
So you
donated
now tell
to the
that
person.
to
Thank
now want to withdraw police from the person that
the service the
operational
president. That is the vehicles we are talking about. You don't even know how much those people
are pumping
pumping to their maybe different command, and then you now want to withdraw. Won't they be doing yimus to you when you make those
you withdraw
noise?
them, I withdraw my support.
In fact, I'm talking about the police will be doing yimu to their organs when they are giving such orders that you and who? Well, who is doing this? Do you understand? So it is really, really pathetic. It's a system that needs a total overhauling. It's a system in fact, we need a psychological overhauling. Maybe they need to even face. Most of them, whether they are senior officers, whether whatever junior officers, to go to a psychological school, as in to experience an overhauling where they will deal with them. A psychologist need to visit a psychologist that will help them realize, look, this is not what should happen.
And
this
talking about that, your concern, the Delta State Police Command has arrested a police officer, ASP Nuhu Usman, over the killing of a 28-year-old suspect, Mene Ogidi, in Efurun in Delta State. Confirming the development yesterday, the State Police Public Relations Officer, SP Bright Edafe, stated that the incident occurred on Sunday when operative attached to the area command acted on intelligence from members of the public. It says the deceased was apprehended while attempting to wheel a parcel said to contain a Beretta pistol with 4 rounds of ammunition. Edafe added that operatives were deployed to the scene to take the suspect into custody. That should be the regular procedure. So this is the twist. However, the officer leading the team allegedly discharged his firearms in violation of Force Order 237 and the standard operating procedure of the Nigerian Police Force, leading to the suspect's death. The Commissioner of Police has condemned in strong terms the extrajudicial killing of Mene Ogidi, which occurred on Sunday. So, that in a way validates your concern around mental stability. But again, you can't rule some of these things out. If these people are coming from broken buildings, houses where they don't even have toilets, their children are not properly taken care of, they probably slept when there's no light, and then you expect them to be mentally stable when they go to the street to relate with the people. At what point should we have the meeting point? Barrister Daniels, the people don't trust the police anymore. The people don't exactly respect the police anymore. So, and even the effectiveness of the police, a Nigerian would probably fear a soldier more than a police officer. You and I know that. One soldier comes into this space, there's sanity. A police officer is there, nobody cares. How do we reconcile that and make sure that police is your friend is not just by saying, but by actual living that statement?
Well, first, let me say that the excuses given for them to misbehave, for me, is not tenable. We have people that are from poor background. We have people that had a very, very terrible background growing up, and they never go out to exhibit such wickedness or such attitude. So it's not, for me, it's not an excuse. If you don't want to be, if you don't want to work as a police officer, don't get into it. So it doesn't matter where you're coming from. It doesn't matter the system you find yourself. But because there are rules, you must follow. If an employer wants to, you get an employment, of course, there's handbook, there's rules guiding so you must abide by it. Once you violate, whatever it is, and if you cannot flow with the system,
you walk out,
you get out. So that's by one side. Two, these officers know. Before I go in there, I was when NSAS was still around, I went for a client. When I got there, there was something about sales of cars wrongly delivered to someone else. So not criminal matter at all. It actually was a civil matter. They were doing all sorts. The one that was not their business, they were getting into it. Okay, now when I got there and I was trying to see my client, guess what one of the officers told me? He said, I should leave the office, that you think the person I came for, if was an armed robbery case, I would have killed him. I would have shot him dead. I'll just take him, they call it, there's a name they call one thing called one behind something. Just take it. Meaning, so that is the way you're killing people. So these are the police officers saying that to me before I now disclose my identity. To me, at that time, he didn't know I didn't disclose who I was, but came to see. By that time, maybe some other officers like him, they were now cautioning him that yes, that. And I'm like, seriously? So these are the mentality of those people, and that I will kill you, nothing will happen. And that is what that guy has done. This, in fact, when you have some of them that are cultists, you see, that is why I have issues with some of these ideas of federal government saying that some of these terrorists, they reintegrated into the society and all that. Look, this thing is there. If you have not done the proper thing to work on their psyche, their mental, whatever, these people will go back and they will be worse. It's like someone that got into the prison and spent 5 years in prison, and what he wasn't doing before he got into the prison, and he started doing when coming out worse than what it was. So these are the challenges we have. Some of these people that are not supposed to be police officers find themselves in there. So and don't forget that uniform or that office. Police, give them rooms to do whatever. In fact, you're a wicked person already. You now have access to. Thank you. So now, like you said, you've gone the route you're supposed to go. Apprehend someone. Okay, he has committed an offense. Whatever. Let's even court decide. It's not even your place to decide. Your own is to investigate. You have apprehended the person, you've arrested the person, investigate and all that. But now, from what I gather, this person has been tied. Then you now went ahead.
And you shot him. Point blank.
Ow. Ow.
Point blank.
What spirit entered you? As in, you see, that is the one we've seen.
saw.
Several ones happen that we don't know about them. So this is sad, and I cannot then use the excuse of where it's coming from, to justify. There are other people. Look, among some of these policemen we are talking about, they are fine policemen, fine ones that even when you know this one is not, he's not bellyful, he's not but
doing his job.
Discipline, doing his job accordingly. We meet them. They are fine policemen, but these bad ones are the ones that give the police a bad name. So I don't see any reason why you will shoot someone that is not armed, someone that is not facing. Even when someone is armed and the moment his hands are like this and is backing you, you have no right to shoot him. You have no right to shoot him. Just apprehend him, arrest him, and let due process be followed. But these are the extrajudicial killings that we talk about, all these things that now they are starting another, I don't want to call it NSAS saga, because this is how it started. With the NSAS. They started this whole mess, and the youth started clamoring for, and now, I think that even started in Delta, if I remember, before it even came to Lagos and another part. But now we are here,
the same Delta,
and the same thing is happening, and we don't want to experience. You see, the country is in a situation where we need all hands on deck. It's a situation where a lot needs to be fixed, where we are managing ourselves, where we're trying to trigger. People are angry, people are boiling, people are not happy, people are suffering, people are hungry, and you don't want to get the anger of an hungry man. And we can't afford things like this. So their organs need to, in fact, this needs to be a scapegoat, so that others will see this and they will know. It's not just about stripping him of what they've been doing, that, yes, they strip you of being a police officer, then you go home. No, this guy should be prosecuted. He did that not because he's working as a police officer. So when he's prosecuted and they see the outcome, if he has to go to prison, let him go to prison. If he has to be hanged, let him be hanged. So that people will know that, look, you can't do it. This is in fact, is a time bomb for the nation, the whole nation, this singular act of his. So they must let them understand that, look, whatever you do, you must be accountable. Whatever you do can cause menace in the country. It can bring down an action of one person can bring down the whole country, set it on fire, and we can't afford that. We have gone through a lot in this country,
and we are still going through.
So much, and we are trying to even see how to salvage and stand, and we are having things like this. No, it should not be heard of.
Well, I'm sure a lot of people want to also join this conversation. You're live on MITV Plus Breakfast Express, and I have Barrister Olayinka Oladaniels with us in the studio. We're looking at the call by Senator Opeyemi Bamidele for an improvement in police welfare. I know demanding that the 2019 Police Act be dropped and an amended should be done. Well, it has gone through the second reading. He's also demanding for an improvement from the 0.5% to 1% from the FAC monthly allocated to the Nigerian police. But on the other side, Barrister Oladaniels and I are also looking at, where do we place this? How do we restore trust between the police and the people? But let's quickly touch this other story, boy. You can join us via call or text on 0707 380 0959. I'll take the number again, 0707 380 0959. Before we leave this one, in a few minutes, what do you think of the state police conversation? It's been lingering for almost forever. When the new Inspector General of Police came in, there were reports that he dropped recommendation of a 60-month transition space. Where Do you think states owning the command structure of police would improve our security challenges, Barrister Daniels?
Well, it will improve it provided we can fund it. Because as we speak, like I mentioned Lagos and maybe a few other states, a lot of states cannot even pay the bills of the civil servants. They can't pay salaries. So everybody, they live on the federal government, federation account and all that. So you can see, now, funding is another issue. But if we take funding out, which is key, we can take it out, but then let's come to state policing. Now, in those days, that was what was happening. They had the Olodes here. So if anything happened in a community,
They know.
They know. Iletani, Omobutani. So they know. And if the king is giving, okay, they give you have breached the law, you have whatever, and it face. So when you have state policing, now don't go and bring somebody from Kano to Ogun State. He doesn't know the terrain. He doesn't know the culture. He doesn't know the native, the tradition, and all the things that happen there. So you need people from that community to be the one. So they can even say, okay, when you have this, because security is not a job of police alone. All the soldiers.
Job of everyone.
Everyone. So if all of us are involved in it, and in our state policing, don't forget, because anything that happens today, do you know that the governor of that state cannot command the commissioner of police?
Yes.
Because the commissioner of police gets his order from the IG, and IG is from the federal. So no matter what you do, you still there's limitation to whatever you can do as policing in your state. So, but when we have it, when the governor can talk to the commissioner of the state and he's not waiting for directive from IG, that is what happened in the state society. Check the American, check. That is what happens there. They have their state police. So if we have that to the inner part of each state, they know. So they deploy all their people to them. So whatever if Mr. Saka's son is misbehaving, they know. So and with that, everybody is calm. You will see that crime will reduce. All those things. Why? Because we know. And again, we now go back to the value we used to have in those days. That if your son or Mr. Saka misbehave or commit a crime, now the name is blacklisted in that community. Oh, we know the family of so. We need to go back to that. And what will help us is this state policing we are talking about.
What about the concerns of the hijack? People say, oh, the governors are powerful. Adding this command of police to them even makes them powerful. Oh, they'll use it to hunt their political opponents. They'll use it to do that. Are those valid concerns?
Is president not powerful? Doesn't the president use the IG and the police, whatever, apparatus to hunt
So we already have the
opposition?
problem already.
He's there. So if that is the fear, I do not agree, because that is what is happening. It is for them now to see how the legislature can come and say, okay, let us look at the laws and see how it is not sacrosanct for governor to just make directive. But unfortunately, we have not even done that at the federal level. So let's see the legislation that will guide this. We need to look at it. Okay, let's look at the law so that nobody is afraid that, oh, once I don't like Mr. Governor, he will come after me. Or when Mr. Governor doesn't like me, then it goes for me. So we need to take care of that fear. Once that's taken care of, because it's happening already. So that shouldn't be the basis of saying, in fact, let's even look at the advantages and the disadvantages. Maybe that is just one of it. But the advantages are thousands. So which one do you go for? Oh, because you're afraid that, oh, Mr. Governor will be so powerful and you don't want to, but when you now weigh your options, you know, look, this will do more of good.
I feel safe. Let the governor hijack whatever he wants to hijack.
It will do more of good than bad. So I think, for me, we'll be clamoring for it, and we will not stop asking for state policing. And thank God that they are embracing it, and we hope that very soon they will consider this and we'll move on.
We're really pressed for time. And of course, we've looked at issues of our Senate advancing in the Police Trust Fund Amendment Bill. That was a major concern that was, that's been raised by a lot of people. But my guest just said it this morning that, listen, when we weigh our options, the concern of maybe the governors hijacking the police structure in their states does not hold enough for us not to have state police. And I understand his thoughts that people can now own their police. You can hold people to account. Oh, if you were born in Ikorodu and you're a police officer and they post you to Ikorodu, you will not open your eyes and allow criminals to attack your family. And they know that, oh, this person is this person. And I think it's a conversation that would continue. But of course, we're pressed for time. We need to leave today. Thank you so much for everyone that joined Barrister Yinka Daniels.
Thank you.
We had to just bring in on a short notice, and thank you for finding time to be with us on the show today. Well, you also have to understand that everything we do in this country, whether as a politician or as a private citizen, the responsibility of building this country rests with every one of us. But you can always be a part of the conversation by joining us on all our social media platforms. It's at MITV Plus on Facebook, at mitvplus.ng on Instagram, TikTok, and X. You can also watch all our programs live on YouTube at MITV Plus_NG. And don't forget to click the like button and also subscribe so that you can get more updates as we drop them for you. Once again, I hope that tomorrow my co-host, Toun Aderele, will be fit enough to be with us on the show. My name is Okpeyemi Akinyode, and it's a pleasure to have you join us. Thank you very much once again, Barrister Yinka Daniels, for being with us. I'm sure you still join us very soon for a bigger conversation. Don't forget that this is the country we call home. No matter how many opportunities you have to leave, you would always come back. Keep your dial locked right there on MITV Plus. This program returns tomorrow, same time, 7 a.m., same station. You're number one that MIT. Okay, we have a message, and I think I want to read it real quick before we go. I'm sure my producer will not kill me for this one, but I'll take 1 minute and read. Okay. Daniel Wise Abayomi is texting us, and he says, "Hi, good morning, sirs. This is a very important issue of discussion, and this is my opinion. Police needs to be reformed in this country, and not only for their salary increase." Okay, thank you very much, Daniel Wise Abayomi, for texting. We have another message. Government should do something about police harassment before it goes out of hand, and killings of many Nigerians, mainly on Nigerian roads, so that things don't escalate. Thank you very much. You didn't put your name on this one, but would appreciate your message. We have to go. Let's do this again tomorrow. God willing, I'll be back.
Well, I have a feeling things are about to change.
The new season of the hit series Wura is coming to Africa Magic.
You don't say.
Here's everything you need to know about the woman behind the name to get ready.
This is well.
Wura is the ruthless CEO of Frontline Gold Mine.
We're going to build our paradise here on earth.
She'll do anything to maintain her power and perfect image. Lies, fraud, and of course, murder.
Let the dead state hit her.
Many try to take her down, but she always claws her way back to the top.
Lava block.
That is, until she discovers that the last person she murdered is her own abandoned daughter. The once unbreakable Wura begins to fall apart, and her empire of gold crumbles around her. But she would rather die than have the world as is. Catch Wura Season 4 on Africa Magic Showcase and available to all on Africa Magic Family.
Production.
Kimtse mada mai mada kambun baka.
Na yarda asara aka neman gaba.
So ya ishe so ya wuce da na sani.
Kun zara anan ne aka neman wata.
So shi ya ka kamu madadin makata.
Sare da bari su daga na
Kai banga da na duba. Ishe yar Hausa da ji amsa. Kin ga tuwon girma a ga nama.
Kai saurin kaguwa.
Sanki yana sa nutsuwa ne.
Da yayyafi ka zauna.
In ki sa cikin kalbina.
Masu auna sun auna.
Sauye san ki sannadin hamfana.
San ka nake ya bu jikina.
Ni ma haka. Yarda da juna. Ni na dace.
Kai za na jira.
Muna yin nasara.
A so ba a jira.
Mata ta madaurin gida.
Zato na gurin yan uba.
Ba sa cin tunaninmu ba.
Ni dai kai kadai zan yaba.
Ni ta wasan wasa.
Ka tawakar na wasa.
Hausa akwai yin gausa.
Ga guduma ga kusa.
Na yi mafarki.
Ni ma na yi mafarki haka ne.
To ki tsaya mi magana.
Ka ji duma ta buguna.
Masu hali za su rina. Ɗauki tukunya girke kar da makafi su fasa.
Dubi ce na baroci wanda ta'ala ya dasa.
Ajin haushin wa ya rasa.
Na ga ruwa na ga wuta kan akula ta tafasa.
Kin ga masoyin